Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you had a splendid morning. Got to check out the earlier show, which is a real head scratcher. I had to feed OJ lunch, and he's to this point, he won't eat cat food anymore. He wants to eat rotisserie chicken. So we're having that battle quite a bit. Matter of fact, he's up on the desk right now looking at rotisserie chicken, but he can't get into the package. That's my life in a nutshell. Let's see who I missed in the pre-party. Crime Story Diva, hello. Walking Dead, I saw Slim, I saw Angel, Pebbles is in. We have some people who haven't been in a while. Welcome back. Welcome back. So let's take a second and tell everyone hello. Welcome each of our friends in and get to it. It is 2 for Tuesday. I think I need a video for that. 2 for Tuesday. Well, hello, Mary Glick. How are you? Mary Glick's in the house. Okay, as you know, we actually have a Facebook group specifically for Madalina Cojocari. If anyone can drop that link in here and you guys want to join it, go ahead. Kat's really good at keeping it up, because anytime there's an update, she's right on it. She's it's a great group. We also have updates in the regular Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group. So as you know, Madalina, and if you're new to it, don't worry, I will get you up to speed. This is Madalina's missing flyer. She has been missing since before Thanksgiving, November 2022. Exactly what day she went missing, we don't know. The flyer says, we are seeking firsthand eyewitnesses information from anyone who may have seen this Toyota Prius or white female in the area between the dates of November 22nd, 2022, December 15th. Madalina was last seen wearing jeans, pink, purple, and white Adidas shoes. Seeing jeans, pink, purple, and white Adidas shoes, and white Adidas shoes, and a white t-shirt and jacket. I must be reading that wrong. And if you have information, the phone number scrolling at the bottom. And it has been one thing after another. They put the stepfather and her mother in jail for failing to report her. You see, the school, they got done with the excuses. We also know Diana was a mail order bride from Moldova. I know a couple of people right off the bat, they said, this is trafficking, this is trafficking, this is trafficking. We hear this in every case. People say it's trafficking, someone is an informant, or they're probably in Mexico. I'm losing my voice again. It'll come back. But in this case, the FBI is heavily involved. Here is one update we had. Newly obtained search warrants reveal Madalina Cojocari's mother asked a distant relative if he would help with smuggling her, Diana, and Madalina away. She also told him that she was in a bad relationship with her husband, Christopher Palmatier, and that she wanted a divorce. Well, the distant relative is not a divorce attorney, so why bother him with that? Get to smuggling, right? According to the warrants, phone records reviewed by investigators revealed extensive communication on December 2nd with that relative. That person's phone records revealed multiple calls to phone numbers belonging to unidentified targets involved in ongoing T3 drug, narcotic trafficking investigations. Whew. Let's go to the beginning because I really want to go through what the stepfather, Christopher, is saying now that he's out of jail.
News, the mother and step-parent of a missing 11-year-old girl from Cornelius are now in police custody. The arrest happening early this morning. Police say they arrested Christopher Palmer and Madalina Cojocari for failure to report the disappearance of Madalina Cojocari to law enforcement. WCNC Charlotte's Austin Walker joining us now from Cornelius after speaking with neighbors. And Austin, you tell us what we know so far.
Yes, we know her stepfather was arrested earlier today and just confirmed by CPD. Her mother was also taken into custody as well. Neighbors saw that happen just after.
I think it's so odd that the stepfather was arrested before the mother. He was in Michigan eating turkey, dry-ass turkey, with his sister. Why was he arrested before? I don't know. But Diana is still in the slammer.
After 10 this morning. Now, this neighborhood is pretty much very quiet, neighbors say, but in the last 24 hours, it's been anything but that. Neighbors say Cornelius PD was at the house all last night trying to figure out exactly what happened to that missing girl. Also, neighbors say that they've been questioned by the FBI, trying to put those puzzle pieces together as well. Since being here for about a couple of hours, we've also seen police cars driving through the area. One of the neighbors who didn't want to be on camera also says the family pretty much kept themselves for all this, trying to make sense of exactly what happened.
Now, look, it looks like they have aluminum foil on the windows. Your guess is as good as mine. They have one strand of Christmas lights there, some landscaping they need to do, but all in all, it's a gorgeous house. Christopher was actually putting a room on the house, which I think it's because he foresaw Diana's family coming from Moldova to live with them.
Yesterday, there was all the commotion we had. There must have been, 40, people out there, investigators and going in to do searches of the home. It's very concerning that something like this could happen, that it was so close to us. I hope that, she's run away or something and comes back, but, it's, all you can do is hope and pray.
So Cojocari's parents originally reported her missing to her middle school's resource officer, and they say they last saw her at home on November 23rd. So if you know anything that could lead to any information to find her, to get her home safely, please reach out to Cornelius PD. In Cornelius tonight, Austin Walker, WCNC Charlotte.
It is crazy. Let's go to the new theories, shall we? This is reported by News Nation, not their local news that I know of. Madalina Cojocari, new theories emerge in case of missing North Carolina girl. And she's an absolute stunner. Let me tell you what, Madalina is gorgeous. When you see her mother, you might even speculate that her mother might be jealous of her. But Madalina has been missing since before Thanksgiving, November of 2022. It's a very haunting video seeing her get off the bus. Now, her grandmother says Madalina's stepfather sold her for money. Well, how you know that, Grandma? How you know that? But the stepfather now is saying that Madalina's mother is hiding her away in the mountains. Yeah. Again, the FBI is very involved in this case. Here is an update we had early on, and then we're going to go through the new News Nation update they put out.
New tonight here at 10, for the first time since her disappearance, the Cornelius Police Department has released.
So here she is getting off the bus, and that's the last known sighting in November, at least, of Madalina. We know she was seen. It was believed that she was seen a few weeks later.
A video update on the search for missing 11-year-old Madalina Cojocari. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Annie Satowski. Madalina has been missing for more than a month, and she wasn't reported missing to authorities until nearly 2 weeks ago when her school finally got involved. Queen City News Northeast Bureau Chief Sydney Heiberger has been following this case closely for us.
Now, I wish old girl in red, and by the way, I love that dress, wouldn't have said the school finally got involved. No, they were fed a line of bull by Diana. See, your kids can get sick. You can check them out. You can go on vacation. You can say, I'm going to take them out until Christmas because we're going to homeschool, whatever. But they knew something was up. The school did nothing wrong.
She's live outside of Madalina's home on Victoria Bay Drive in Cornelius. So, Sydney, what did we learn today?
Yeah, Annie, Cornelius police officials say their investigation has taken them around the globe. We know Madalina's mother, Diana, and her mother's side of the family is from Moldova. We also know that investigators say they've conducted interviews across state lines. We know that Madalina's stepfather, Christopher Palmitter, told investigators that he took a road trip to his family's home in Michigan shortly after they last saw her. And I can tell you, Cornelius police did not mince words when they said they believe Madalina's parents are hiding information.
245 door knocks, 250 leads chased across state lines and around the globe. Hundreds of law enforcement officials working this case from the local to the federal level.
One of the challenges in this case, simply put, we were not notified she was gone. A delay of 3 weeks.
On Tuesday, Cornelius police released their first video update in their search for Madalina Cojocari. Madalina's mother, Diana Cojocari, told investigators she last saw her on November 23rd, but did not report her missing to her daughter's school until 22 days later.
School officials had repeatedly tried to contact Madalina's parents. Finally, on December 15th, Madalina's mother walked into school and said her daughter was missing.
A search on land and on Lake Cornelius. Investigators were also seen carrying out items from Madalina's home while executing a search warrant last Wednesday.
We know everyone has a lot of questions. We also have questions and are doing everything we can with proper legal authority to get those answers.
Diana and Madalina's stepfather, Christopher Palmitter, are still in jail for failing to report her missing. And when it comes to their level of cooperation,
this is a serious case of a child whose parents clearly are not telling us everything they know.
Diana Cojocari and Christopher Palmitter will have their bond hearings tomorrow morning. We're also hoping to get our hands on that search warrant to hopefully find out a little bit more about what police found when they searched this home last week. I'm live in Cornelius. Sydney Heiberger, Queen City News.
Well, they had reports from the neighbors that a couch was smoldering in their backyard for quite a while. Is there any proof that they were burning something of Madalina's? Nope, because they have not reported that. Now, if Madalina was in the couch, we would know that. We would know that. But Christopher, he's out of jail now. He got a lower bond and he is out. But he sat there for month after month after month after month. Month after month. And now he has his own theory that Diana, is hiding Madalina somewhere in the mountains. Okay, hang on. Why is this not working? Give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm back. Let's try that again.
The parents of Madalina Cojocari appeared in court today. And here are the two big developments. The missing girl's mother, Diana Cojocari, and stepfather, Christopher Palmiter, both entered a not guilty plea. The judge also lowered Palmiter's bond to $25,000. Well, thanks for staying with us at 5. I'm Alicia Barnes. Family members for both parents were also in the courtroom today. Queen City News anchor Robin Kennedy live outside the courthouse. Robin, you spoke with Madalina's grandmother, so what did she have to say?
Alicia, Madalina Cojocari's grandmother made some pretty explosive comments today. She says she strongly believes her granddaughter was kidnapped and sold to human traffickers.
What a thing for a grandmother to say. Why can't the grandmother go to the jail, have a meeting with her own daughter, and say, what did you do with Madalina? And did you honestly have this communication with Octavian where you wanted to smuggle yourself and Madalina? You are here, but where's Madalina?
And is it your intention to plead not guilty and proceed to trial?
Yes.
Diana Cojocari pleads not guilty to a felony charge of not reporting her daughter Madalina Cojocari missing. Diana is still in jail on a $250,000 bond, but her husband, Christopher Palmiter, who has the same charge, could get out. A judge reduced his bond Thursday to $25,000. Their daughter was last seen last November getting off her school bus. She's been missing now for almost 9 months. Cornelius police said early on neither of her parents had been cooperative in helping with the investigation.
From the get, my friends, Cornelius police said these two are not cooperating. When Christopher got back home from his Thanksgiving dinner and supposedly to get something out of a shed in Michigan, he shows back up and asks Diana, where is Madalina? She's like, I don't know. Where's Madalina? Do you have Madalina? He goes, no. Do you have Madalina? Are you hiding her? Look, Madalina is not a set of car keys. Madalina is not the remote control. What a strange exchange. But what we don't know is how did Diana explain Madalina's disappearance and not being there afterward? Because they were spotted around Cornelius. They went to several different shops. They were walking hand in hand. They were happier than pigs in shit. They were doing good. Decorating for Christmas. So what did Diana tell Chris? He doesn't seem to be the sharpest tool in the shed.
Rodica Cojocari, Diana's mother and Madalina's grandmother, was in court Thursday and spoke with Queen City News outside the courthouse. A native Russian translator provided a transcript to Queen City News.
Мои дети попали у трафикантов для детей. Моя внучка живая, ее продали вместе с Дианой за 5.
She said, my children were caught up by child traffickers. My granddaughter is alive. She was sold along with Diana for $5 million. Diana hasn't been sold. Diana's in the jail. Unless she's trying to say Christopher owes her $5 million because Diana is a mail order bride.
$5 миллионов долларов.
Rodica says she wants to take her daughter and granddaughter back to her homeland of Moldova in Eastern Europe because she feels they're in danger in the United States.
Воровать твоего ребенка, не дай бог, или ваших детей.
A message to Madalina that I love her very much, Madalina and Diana. Then why, if Christopher is so bad, why, when he learned Moldovan, if that's the language, and he flew to Moldova to meet you guys, that you have no problem with him coming back to the United States of America with Diana and Madalina. But now, while he's in Michigan, you're saying he sold Madalina. Yet the FBI has confirmed Madalina was seen at a gas station. And Madalina, her mother, Diana, called a distant family member, who I believe is Octavian, and said, I'm in an unhappy marriage, and I need you to smuggle both me and Madalina. Well, she's sitting in jail eating beefaroni. Where's Madalina?
Надо их побыстрее остановить, эту банду. Это настоящая банда. Понимаете? Настоящая банда. Их надо остановить. Всего 15 человек.
My Diana is a teacher and a translator of Russian, Romanian, English languages. She's an educated child. Both Cojocari's, Diana and... Well, if she's that damn smart, how come she couldn't get a job in the U.S.?
Я знаю только 5 из них. А остальные 10 я не знаю. И я считаю, что Мадалина находится у этого человека, усатого, вот такого полного человека, 63-летнего возраста. Мадалина у него там находится. Я так думаю.
We asked Cornelius police to respond to Rodica's allegations that Madalina was kidnapped and sold. They tell us, quote, "We are considering all aspects of this investigation, and we will continue to investigate any and all leads that will help us find Madalina."
Madalina's grandmother also tells us she's hopeful the FBI will help catch the people she believes kidnapped her granddaughter. I'm live at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse. Robin Kennedy, Queen City News.
Okay. But, big but, the stepfather bonded out. The judge reduced his bond by a lot, but did not reduce Diana's. This is him walking out with his county haircut. He got him a county shave, and he's walking out.
Christopher Palmer has been out on bond. He is facing felony charges for failing to report Madalina Cojocari, his stepdaughter, missing. The Cornelius girl was last seen getting off a school bus back in November, but it took 3 weeks before her parents, including her mother, Diana Cojocari, reported her disappearance to the police. They were both arrested in December. Madalina's mother remains in jail on a $250,000 bond. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre taking a closer look at the recent court.
Damn, they got the hell out of there. Look at that again. And he's got some man boobs. Let me tell you what. They're bouncing, my friends. Those man boobs could honestly give him a black eye.
And his mother remains in jail on a $250,000 bond. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre taking a closer look at the recent court events.
I'll set this bond at $25,000 secured.
After 8 months in custody for failing to report Madalina Cojocari missing, Christopher Palmer, her stepfather, is out on bond. In court Thursday, his attorney Brandon Roseman argued there was no evidence that he hurt Madalina, nor is he a danger to society.
He might not know where Madalina is specifically, but he to this day still believes that Madalina is in the care of Diana with whatever person that she assigned to care for her.
Roseman notes search warrant records support that Madalina's mother, Diana Cojocari, believed Palmer put the family in danger. A text message on December 2nd indicate Diana was with her daughter. And then there is a possible sighting of Madalina in the mountains with Diana's relative.
He's adamant that he does not believe that Diana harmed Madalina.
And he doesn't. But is he in on it or not? Because on December 2nd, they believe Madalina was alive. Where is Madalina? Why did he come home from Michigan after having some canned cranberry sauce and some dry-ass turkey and stovetop stuffing and drive all the way back from Michigan and say, where's Madalina? Isn't her chore to keep aluminum foil on the windows? Where is she? But he says she's in the mountains. I don't think Madalina survived winter in the mountains. No.
He believes that Diana fervently believes that Madalina is in danger from some unknown third party, apparently related to him placing money and assigning benefits to her in a 401k account.
Palmer's passport has already been surrendered, and he will now have to wear an ankle monitor. Attorney James Exum says that is not rare in these cases.
You got GPS monitoring, so they can monitor your whereabouts for literally any purpose, to be honest with you. A lot of crimes are solved when they're committed by people or in coordination with people who are on the monitor because it puts them near a scene.
Exum says Palmer's attorney requesting a lower bond while Diana's attorney did not could be strategic.
Maybe he wanted to hear how the evidence came out in a hearing for stepdad before doing it for her, but it can be any number of reasons.
Madalina's whereabouts are still unknown. Both parents pleaded not guilty to the felony charge and will have their day in court.
So there doesn't have to be a finding of the child for that. It's just whether a jury is going to believe beyond a reasonable doubt that the parents knew she was missing or had reason to know she was missing and did not report it within 24 hours, basically, of that knowledge.
Okay. The charge, get my glasses back on. The charge right now, and Christopher is out on bail because his was reduced, is failure to report. Nothing about kidnapping, trafficking, murder, nothing like that. And we know how that goes in these cases. They don't want to start the clock. Because, well, if you've got the guilty person in jail already, what's the hurry? It gives them more time to put their case together. We've seen it over and over. It might really get on our nerves because we're in a hurry. But they're really not because, you know, justice is very slow. This charge is very simple. You want to go to a jury? The truth is, neither Christopher or Diana reported Madalina missing. Neither one. So either his is going to be time served and he'll pay a fine. Hers, I have a feeling, is going to be much more complicated. All the communication, from what we know, came from her phone. And I don't know if it's jealousy about Madalina, if she wanted to traffic Madalina or what. But as we know in these cases, there are some mothers, seems to be a lot of them lately, that don't have the best interest of their children at heart. Here's a few of them. Welcome to the club, Diana. Welcome to the club. This is not the country club you would want to get into, girlfriend. This is about women who don't value their children. Now let's get to what News Nation put out last week, because it's very interesting and it brings a lot together. I will have to pause it and put my own commentary in from here to there. You know how it goes. It's YouTube. Matter of fact, just for Daisy, I'm going to put this up since she loves striking people. It's called Fair Use. Fair use.
And pose your questions. Today in our Missing series, we have an update on a case out of North Carolina and a little girl who got off her school bus last November and vanished. For more than 9 months, police have been searching for Madalina Cojocari. Her mother and her stepfather are charged with failing to report her missing because they waited 3 weeks before filing a police report. And that was only when the girl's school demanded to see her. Since we last told you about Madalina's case, Unsealed warrants have revealed some new details about the mother's trips to Western North Carolina to the mountains, recorded jail calls discussing bags of money, and potential sightings of Madalina and a distant relative. All of this as the girl's grandmother makes some bombshell allegations involving child trafficking, and her stepfather has been released on bond. Here's Nicole Burley with Madalina's case.
New video of Madalina Cojocari, the latest effort by Cornelius Police to keep the case on people's minds.
Anything and everything we can do to draw attention to this case so that we can hopefully find the information that we need to lead us to her.
And I'm so happy that they are doing this, because we all know the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Okay? The hungry belly gets the sloppy Joe. Diana is not talking. And as it appears right now, Christopher doesn't know and just didn't give a rat's ass when he got home that his stepdaughter wasn't there.
In an exclusive interview with News Nation, the police chief talking about the efforts to bring Madalina home.
I can say with confidence that we have followed up on hundreds of leads and spent thousands of man hours.
It's been more than 9 months since these last images of Madalina getting off her school bus November 21st. Police say Diana Cojocari told them she last saw her daughter at their home on Wednesday night, November 23rd. Diana and her husband, Christopher Palmer, had an argument, and he drove to his family's home in Michigan. When Diana went to check on Madalina on Thanksgiving morning, she wasn't there. A backpack of clothing and some of her favorite toys also gone. Both parents face charges for not reporting her missing for 3 weeks. Now, 2 conflicting theories are emerging about what happened to the girl. The attorney for Christopher Palmer says his client has cooperated with police and believes the girl is being hidden away by her mother.
He believed that Diana had taken Madalina somewhere up into the mountains. He tells detectives specifically that he believes Diana took her somewhere and that she is safe.
The reason, Palmer says Diana believed he put Madalina in danger by naming her as a beneficiary on an investment account.
In these interviews that Chris gave to the police, he's adamant that
Now, I had no idea, and I've been following this for, since it broke. I had no idea, which there's a lot in these cases to miss, that he made Madalina the beneficiary of an investment account he had. None. So was Diana jealous? Was she upset about this? Why did she move her?
he does not believe that Diana harmed.
A backpack of clothing and some of her favorite toys also gone. Both parents face charges for not reporting her missing for 3 weeks. Now, 2 conflicting theories are emerging about what happened to the girl. The attorney for Christopher Palmer says his client has cooperated with police and believes the girl is being hidden away by her mother.
He believed that Diana had taken Madalina somewhere up into the mountains. He tells detectives specifically that he believes Diana took her somewhere and that she is safe.
The reason, Palmer says Diana believed he put Madalina in danger by naming her as a beneficiary on an investment account.
In these interviews that Chris gave to the police, he's adamant that he does not believe that Diana harmed Madalina. He believes that Diana fervently believes that Madalina is in danger from some unknown third party, apparently related to him placing money and assigning benefits to her in a 401k account, something that doesn't make any sense.
According to police, in a text message on December 2nd, more than a week after the disappearance, Diana indicated she was in the presence of the missing girl. It was the same day she allegedly had extensive conversations with a male cousin, identified as Octavian Sebanu, about smuggling her and Madalina away from Palmer.
And we're still trying to figure out, where the hell is Octavian? Where is Octavian? Just Me said, I just can't understand why no one reported her missing. Diana, I understand, because it seems like she had the master plan. Christopher, as we stand here today, or sit here today on the couch today, laying in bed listening today, I think he just didn't care. I think when she found out that this investment account had Madalina's name on it, it's starting to come together more.
On December 3rd, Diana was seen in the city of Hickory, an hour west of her home, getting her oil changed. The attendant says there were children's toys in the car, but no child was present. And the Madison County Sheriff's Office confirms to News Nation on the night of December 4th, a deputy encountered Diana sleeping in her car near Lonesome Mountain. News Nation traveled to the mountains of western North Carolina to investigate a possible sighting of Madalina. On December 16th, a woman reported seeing a girl resembling Madalina with a male companion.
There was a possible sighting at the Lowe's Foods here in Sugar Mountain. We were able to track down video, still footage of that, and forwarded that to Cornelius.
But police say the sighting and another one in California did not turn out to be Madalina. Still, the area is vast, and outdoor experts say it would be easy to stay hidden.
There's a lot of remote locations here. It would be easy to hide somebody if you really wanted to, or to spend time away from anything you want.
Just a lot of open space, a lot of places without internet or cell phone signal, a lot of woods, a lot of roads that go way off and dead.
We've heard that before in other cases. Very bad signal, so you wouldn't know. She knew where to go. Diana did. Christopher was not seen there. And don't think I'm taking it for Christopher. I don't know the dude. He's not my uncle. He's not my daddy. He's not my brother. I'm not having an affair with Christopher. I could care less. The question is, why did Diana, if what we are hearing is correct, why did she want Madalina away? And I use away very loosely.
Also revealed in the affidavits, recorded jail calls, one between Palmer and his brother, saying Diana had a lot of cash with her and he didn't know where it came from. And another call between.
So this is Christopher talking to his brother. During a recorded jail call between Christopher Palmer, his brother, and sister-in-law, he mentions Diana had a lot of cash with her. Now, this woman was selling Mary Kay and not very good at it. Okay, she's not really good at it. It's not like she had a pink Cadillac, all right? She's just not very good at selling that Mary Kay. She's not a good makeup pimper. Seems to be one of the words. But how did she all of a sudden have a lot of cash? She was taking him around town. Let's get lunch. Let's go Christmas shopping. I have money. She had a lot of cash. So who gave her cash? And the only thing that she could have sold would be Madalina. Lisa said, Brooks, Madalina's a minor, so who would be responsible for that account? Well, I don't think old Christopher was planning on going away anytime soon, but my understanding is his sister would oversee it in case he passed away before Madalina turned 18.
Between Diana and her mother, discussing a bag of money, withdrawing cash, and a theory that Chris gave the girl away for money. Acclaimed Diana's mother speaking in
idiots. We have to hear this again. So then you have a recorded phone call between Diana and her mother saying that Christopher gave her away for money. No, you pay someone to babysit if you've got coupons to Outback Steakhouse or Red Lobster. You don't give someone a bunch of money to take your child forever. They pay you if you're selling a child. This is ridiculous. But I have a feeling she can confuse old yellow dress real quick.
It would be easy to hide somebody if you really wanted to, or to spend time away from anything you want.
Just a lot of open space, a lot of places without internet or cell phone signal, a lot of woods, a lot of roads that go way off and dead end.
Also revealed in the affidavits, recorded jail calls, one between Palmiter and his brother saying Diana had a lot of cash with her and he didn't know where it came from. And another call between Diana and her mother discussing a bag of money, withdrawing cash, and a theory that Chris gave the girl away for money. Acclaimed Diana's mother, speaking in Russian, repeated to reporters outside the courthouse.
Мои дети попали у трафикантов для детей. Моя внучка живая, ее продали вместе с Дианой за $5 миллионов.
Warrants show police have combed through the couple's financial records, as well as social media, messaging accounts, and phone data. Cornelius police saying only they are looking into every lead.
We're taking everything that the grandmother has said into consideration during this investigation, and we're following up on all possibilities. But we have no indication right now that there's any sort of trafficking ring in our community.
Diana's mom, laying out photos on the sidewalk, asked if she has a message for Madalina.
Очень. И Мадалину, и Диану. Очень люблю. Диана у меня.
Both parents have pleaded not guilty to charges of failing to report a missing child. Palmiter released August 18th after posting a reduced bail of $25,000, ignoring questions from reporters.
Christopher, where is Madalina? Where is Madalina? Where is Madalina?
The Cornelius police chief pledging his department will not give up.
I am confident we will solve this case and we will find Madalina.
And it has been 9 months and she remains missing. Diana Cojocari, Madalina's mother, remains in jail with a bond set at $250,000. As you watch this case, I know you have questions, so I encourage you to participate. If you have questions, whatever social media you're watching on now, you can submit those questions. We'll do our best to answer them to the best of our ability. Joining me now, trial attorney Misty Maris, also News Nation contributing legal mind. Thank you. As you look at this case, I'm curious what stands out to you legally, because it is.
Before they get to this lady, thank goodness it's not Jacob. I couldn't believe we had to listen to her today. Let us not forget that the FBI confirmed that they have hundreds of agents working, 250 leads across the globe. They've interviewed hundreds of people across the globe. So I don't think it's as simple as what Chris is trying to say. And what Diana is saying doesn't make sense at all.
Unraveled into quite a web with two different theories.
Absolutely. So what stands out to me the most, first of all, we have the failure to report Madalina gone missing for a very long time, right? 3 weeks. The law, Kaylee's law, kicks in after 24 hours when somebody, a parent, knowingly does not report a missing child. So that's part one. The other part that sticks out to me is that they didn't come eventually willingly to report Madalina missing. Instead, the school said, we need to see Madalina. We haven't seen her in a certain period of time. So that, to me, that all leads to that intent element for that particular part of the case. Now, keep in mind, the mother is still being held. The stepfather's out on bond. He's cooperating, providing information. We learned a lot of new things from these warrants. And I'm thinking, and look, behind the scenes, once child trafficking is implicated, that is federal. So while this is still being investigated by the local law,
I'm so glad News Nation found someone that has a brain in their skull, unlike Jacob. When she said, no, that's federal. And the feds work slow. This case has always had a different element. It's always had a different feel to it. Yes, we have a missing child. Yes, we have a shit mother. Yes, we have a stepfather that may or may not knew what went on. But the FBI has always been heavily involved.
Enforcement. I imagine behind the scenes, you have federal law enforcement investigating this case and seeing if there's other charges that may potentially be brought against Madalina's mother. And I think all of that is happening simultaneously. Whether or not there's merit to what the grandmother said, we don't know. But I can't imagine that there isn't a feverish investigation into that, because the reason for Kaylee's law is that you lose a lot. You lose a lot of time. 48 hours is the critical time frame, Marnie, for a missing person.
Yeah.
And so when somebody is not reported missing, video might be erased, potential witnesses who could give an idea of where somebody was last seen, all of that can be lost. That's the reasoning behind the law. And so in this particular case, I think that law enforcement is really working on that investigation to establish what happened and possibly bring more charges.
Right. And so at this point, you've got a little girl who hasn't been seen. You've got two people who were last responsible for her who have conflicting stories. I would be curious if they're trying to throw investigators off the scent, because the information they're sharing, they did so while they were incarcerated, right? Jailhouse calls between their family members. So you have to wonder about both of their credibility and where the truth lies in these two stories.
Marty, you're absolutely right. And jailhouse calls and jailhouse confessions are notoriously questionable. There are always issues with respect to credibility because of exactly what you said. Are they calculated? Are they for the purpose of creating a narrative behind bars while the rest of the investigation is being unraveled? That being said, they're also taken seriously because on one hand, the jailhouse call can be questionable because of all of those issues of credibility. But on the other hand, it could be that these jailhouse calls, meetings with family members, they're not on guard at the moment. They think they're having private conversations, even though it is disclosed in every jail, in every prison, that those calls are recorded and those calls are fair game. Oftentimes, when those meetings are happening, when they're speaking to family members from behind.
She said fair game. I like fair game better than fair use. If you know, you know.
Bars, they're not on their A game. They're making statements that they might not be in their best interest. And that's why the calls are recorded, for one thing, in order to assess whether or not there's evidence relating to another crime. So yes, they are scrutinized, but they're valuable as well.
Right. And if you are the defense team for mom, Diana Cojocari, are you concerned that Chris Palmiter was released on bond, that his bond was reduced and he's on an ankle monitor and she's still behind bars?
Definitely, because in that situation, and we heard it from his lawyer's statement, he's obviously cooperating, right? He's cooperating with prosecutors. He's giving a narrative. He's telling a story. And then he's out on bond. Meanwhile, the mother is still behind bars. And a lot of that is judicial discretion, especially in North Carolina. So every state has different rules, a lot of discretion in North Carolina when it comes to a felony charge. So the fact that he's out and she's in as a defense lawyer, first of all, I'd be making a lot of arguments about why she should be out as well. But on the flip side, as a defense lawyer, your guard goes up because you think, there's more to this, right? It's not just this charge. There's more under that layer as part of the investigation. And so I would imagine her lawyers are keying up to see when is the shoe going to drop, right? What's the next step? And that would be the signal from this particular situation where one person is out on a relatively low bond that was actually reduced and the other person, no bail. So it's really a sign for sure.
And why would you argue she should be out? What's her defense?
I would argue right from the get-go that this is, you really can't be held for more than 120 days under the law. And I would argue based on the North Carolina law that she's not a threat to the public. This is what matters for bail, right? Not a threat to the public and not a flight risk. Those are the two main factors. So you would ankle monitoring, you would say there's other less aggressive means of keeping her in the country and she's not a threat to anybody. She has one criminal charge, I believe, a felony drug conviction, or a felony drug charge that was dismissed. So she doesn't have a felony record. And the drug charge isn't related to the charge she's currently being held on. So those are all the arguments you would make. I imagine.
Now, the drug charge we have to talk about. Old Diana seemed to come across a envelope, a condom, I don't know, full of fentanyl in the shower. She goes to get her sliver of soap and wash her ass off, and she just happens to see some fentanyl in the shower. As of right now, they're not going after that. Just imagine. Maybe Madalina was sold for her drug habit, or she got it in jail. I don't know.
Because she'd been communicating, and that one email where she says, smuggle me and Madalina out of the country, that's probably what's being used by prosecutors to hold her, because that is flight risk, that the alarms are going off from a flight risk perspective, that's something that she might have the capability to do.
I have a few questions from viewers, and I think I might be able to answer some of them, Misty, and then I have another legal question for you. One of our viewers, Harper 2.0 on Twitter, is asking if it was proved that Madalina was seen or not seen with Octavian, who is the family cousin, on Sugar Mountain in December. And I can tell you that we talked to police in that area of Sugar Mountain. They did confirm that there was a possible sighting, but police in Cornelius have said it was not Madalina in this case. I've got another question this is from Tiffany Ross on YouTube. She wants to know if Chris and Diana have spoken since the release. We don't have an answer to that question, but I have one about the property being checked from Eastern Girls 1969. Have they checked their whole property? The answer to that is yes. They had been doing some burning of furniture in their backyard, and that was taken into evidence. Neighbors thought that was very peculiar. In this case, what were they burning? Why were they doing it? It was around the time that Madalina had vanished, but had not yet been reported. So very peculiar. Good questions from everybody who is watching. My question for you, Misty, is we don't know if a crime has been committed. We know this little girl is gone. We can assume that something.
Now, I'm going to correct our News Nation host there. We do know a crime has been committed. Because if you don't know where your child is, you have 24 hours to contact the authorities to get an investigation going. Hell, even Dawn and Candace and Grandis did better than Diana and Chris. So yes, we definitely know a crime's been committed.
Against her will has happened to her. Mom's not talking. Stepdad says, this is what I think happened. For a prosecutor, though, to charge a crime, I hope she's alive. If she's not, do they need a body to charge either of them in a crime? And can they do so without that?
So they can. By the way, Marty, just note, those are all excellent questions. Wow, the viewers have such a detailed eye to this case, which is so important because that's the reason we covered this on News Nation, right, to raise awareness. So kudos to the viewers. As far as your question, no body murder cases are more difficult to prove, but they're not impossible. You can have circumstantial evidence that tends to show that somebody is no longer alive. The reason that they're difficult to prove is because the body is the best piece of evidence in a case. It can show the means and manner and time of death. So without a body, it can be more challenging, but other evidence can be sufficient to prove a no-body case in a court of law. With respect to this case, definitely they are working behind the scenes to further the investigation. And that's why you see her being held on a charge that is relating to the time frame it took her to report Madalina missing. That is always going to be suspect when a parent does not report their child missing. And so that's why we're seeing this continue to unfold, and investigators continue to be looking at her conduct and looking for evidence relating to that time frame. So not impossible, but definitely need more to charge at this juncture from what we've seen in the public sphere.
Right. And I guess just the optics of it, you know, when you have a child go missing, if the parents aren't screaming from the rooftop immediately when they go missing, right, you start to wonder, you know, your little spidey senses go up. Any normal person would say, my child's missing, you do everything you can to find them. It didn't happen.
Sorry, I was muted. And there is a lag. I don't know what's going on. Let's talk about that. We have seen cases where parents don't report their children missing. Hermie Montgomery, Evelyn Boswell, Oakley Carlson. Then we see parents that do report their children missing, but they don't seem to press law enforcement to find their child. Okay? I guess extra kudos to Candace and Dawn today because they actually did call and report Summer missing. But when they don't report at all, and when they're not cooperating, red flag city.
In this case, so it raised a lot of suspicion. Then you add money into the mix. How does that complicate an investigation and their legal defense?
It acts as a motive, right? So now when there's money in the mix, investigators are going to be looking at the money, they're going to follow the money, and they're going to see the potential for financial gain as a possible motive. So from a prosecutor perspective, that is a really key factor as they continue to develop a potential case. Now, from a defense perspective, you're already on alert here to say that, number one, money can't be a motivating factor if you did nothing wrong, right? So money is ancillary if you're not responsible for the disappearance of the child. So I imagine defense attorneys are going to focus on that. But of course, if the money factor comes into play, we spoke about this before, prosecutors do not have to show motive in a court of law in order to obtain a conviction. But by gosh, it helps, especially when you're talking about a child, because everybody is going to have the question that you just said, Marnie. How could a parent not be shouting from the rooftops when their child is missing? How could a parent be so callous about the situation? And so then you factor in the money component, and it helps a jury to be able to wrap their mind around the why. And that's going to be incredibly important if this case goes to trial. And I think that that lag in time, plus the money, and then if they get a lead on something else, well, maybe then you have a case. Maybe then you have a case for sure.
Two more questions. Again, I can answer these. Diane Richards on YouTube, was the trip to Michigan confirmed? So that was the trip that Chris took to Michigan. He says he went there, but that is also still part of the investigation. Mind of Monsters on YouTube is asking, was there any stoplight cameras or street cameras at all in the area or the footage near where these sightings happened? Again, police are saying it wasn't her. These were possible sightings, but they have confirmed that Diana Cojocari was in the area, and we have those side-by-side selfies of her up in the Sugar Mountain area around the same time that Madalina disappeared. You know, as you look at this case, you've got mom, stepdad, and then in the warrant, Misty, you've got this other family member, Octavian Sabanu, and we mentioned him in the piece. He was named in the warrant that was unsealed in March. He's Diana's cousin, only relative in the U.S. He has been questioned by police. Diana says that she's had extensive communication with him about smuggling her and Madalina away from Palmiter, but he has not been charged. He is not listed as a person of interest, yet he's in these court documents.
He's all over the court documents. He's all over the court documents. And who uses the word smuggle? If she is so handy in all of these languages, I learned the English language at 2 years old. Couldn't be that tough for old Diana. Karen said, where is the child's bio father? In Moldova. He's all over the court documents. He's all over them. Who uses the word smuggle? Not pick me up. We got to get out of here. Christopher's an asshole. Come get me.
Things significant about that?
It's twofold. So being in the court documents, just because there's an uncharged individual in the court documents doesn't mean that there wouldn't be charges down the road. There's always the possibility of that. It could also mean that law enforcement has been in contact or that there's some kind of cooperating witness. And the other thing is it couldn't signal neither one of those things. It could just be a relevant fact and specifically relevant to that bail discussion we were just speaking about. So something that prosecutors are absolutely going to want in that warrant, that there was talk of smuggling previously. So it could go many, many different directions. But remember, even if no charges are brought, it doesn't mean that there couldn't be a time or place where they are down the road.
Yeah. And just a moment ago, we showed you the last known video of Madalina getting off her school bus in November of 2020.
Where Summer said smuggling means money exchanged to make a transfer. Exactly. Exactly. So why would you use that terminology if you just wanted to get away from Christopher? She lives in North Carolina. She could have hit 911. There's domestic violence shelters that would have picked Diana and Madalina up and kept them safe if that's what's going on. Hell, in this day and age, Christopher can just look at her cross-eyed and they would take care of her.
Directions. But remember, even if no charges are brought, it doesn't mean that there couldn't be a time or place where they are down the road.
Yeah. And just a moment ago, we showed you the last known video of Madalina getting off her school bus in November of 2022, right around Thanksgiving. I hope, Misty, that the truth lies somewhere between these two very bizarre theories from mom and stepdad, and that Madalina is alive and maybe is being hidden somewhere in the mountains of Western North Carolina. That is our hope in all cases, that they are solved and it's a positive outcome. But this one is very curious. Misty Maris, thank you for your attention on this case. If you have any information about Madalina Cojocari, you can contact the Cornelius Police Department in North Carolina. And if you have a missing person case you think we need to focus on, you can send it to us at newsnationnow.com/missing. We'll take your tips as well on this case and others. I'm Marnie Hughes in Chicago. I'll be back next week with another missing case.
I cannot believe what has come out. And as you all know, we've been following this case since it broke that Madalina's missing. Lisa said, but when you're a criminal, you don't call 911. No, she had another plan, it seems to me. Diana had another plan. This one, this case is something else, my friends. And poor little Madalina deserves to be found. Here is her flyer again. If you want to join the Facebook group for Madalina, feel free. You'll be welcome with open arms. And the FBI put out their own clip And we very rarely see the FBI put out their own clip. Very rarely. I mean, the FBI doesn't even address the public until a case is solved.
The Cornelius Police Department, the FBI, and the SBI are searching for 11-year-old Madalina Cojocari. The Cornelius Police Department, located in Cornelius, North Carolina, learned Madalina was missing on December 15th, 2022. Captain Jennifer Thompson explains.
Our school resource officer and the school counselor tried several times to contact Madalina's mother due to a high number of absences. After agreeing to bring Madalina to school, Diana Cojocari showed up alone, saying she didn't know where her daughter was and hadn't seen her since November 23rd.
Her mother, Diana, and her stepfather, Christopher Palmer, are both charged with failure to report the disappearance of a child to law enforcement. The investigation uncovered video of Madalina getting off the school bus on November the 21st. It's the last confirmed sighting of the sixth grader. Cornelius Police Captain Thompson.
Madalina is 4 feet, 10 inches tall and weighs 90 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. In a missing child investigation, every second counts. Unfortunately, in this case, it was more than 3 weeks before our department was notified she was missing. Despite being hampered by the timeline, we are doing everything possible to find her.
If you have information to help the investigators, call the Cornelius Police Department at 704-892-7773 or 1-800-CALL-FBI.
1-800-CALL-FBI or the Cornelius Police Department, but they're going to forward it right on to the FBI, because when they have the belief that a child has actually been sold, trafficked, whatever adjective you want to use, it is federal. It is federal. Well, I want to say thank you so much to all of you for being here today and keeping Madalina's picture, her name, share this show, and keep it out there. Because as we know how social media works, it's to get a child out there, it's the algorithm. We have a show tomorrow that I hope you guys can all make it for. Alana Raffield's parents are coming on because they've been doing the hard work in what happened to her. A lot of, it's a crazy thing, my friends, a crazy thing. The police department said she committed S, but it's actually the big M. They obtained a law firm, and the depositions are unreal. So come in tomorrow, show them some love, show them that we support victims, not suspects. And again, keep Madalina out there. She's not getting very much coverage at all, and she needs it. She needs it because there's a huge possibility, not that it matters if a child is dead or alive. They need justice either way, but there is a huge possibility that she is alive. Thank goodness for the FBI. I mean, I'd love to help them out, but I don't think they want my help. That's usually how it goes. Thank you, Mod Squad. I know it's been a rough couple of days, especially with my cold and everything. And just thank you, everyone, for being here, being great friends, being the best chat and best community on YouTube. So I will see you guys back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. You are the absolute best. Thank you.